Hey there folks, I'm out here in my front yard and I just want to do a quick update video on my prickly pear cacti. It's about midway through winter right now and I do hope to acquire more cacti this coming growing season, but as of now I'll just give you guys an update on the cacti I have. I have 4 species, 4 different specimens currently growing in my front garden. This is my little desert slash succulent bed. Obviously I've got Camerops humilis and Eucalyptus cinerea, which are I guess you could say drier climate species, semi-arid and whatnot. And my Camerops humilis, you can see it has taken definitely a little bit of damage. The fronds have started to close up a little bit, and you can see some browning there. So I hope to get this thing wrapped soon, get some burlap, maybe something wrap the trunk at least. And I think it could survive unprotected, and unwrapped, but it definitely probably will take a little bit of a beating, judging by its current state of damage, and it can certainly take time to show up. For damage to show up, so yeah, I got to take that into account, and it's in a little bit of a less protected spot than my trackies out here exposed a little more. Yeah, as for my prickly pear cacti, got of course the eastern prickly pear, Punchy Humafusa, and I got some dirt on this one. Just scrape it off here, and yeah, this thing is so what happens is, in winter, these cacti, to conserve energy, and these cacti, some of them grow in extremely cold climates. To conserve energy, the pads shrivel up in winter so that they don't need as much water and whatnot. While in spring, summer, fall, the pads will be standing straight up. They sort of shrivel, droop down, and almost wilt basically in winter to conserve energy, like I said. And yeah, so that's what's happening here. It was standing straight up, and then that happens in winter, still nice and green. That's what you really want to check for. It doesn't matter if they're shriveled. That's what happens. You want to check, make sure the pads are nice and green, and obviously they are. And this thing's doing really well. This is a native species of cacti. There's native specimens right near here, actually, in the woods by the some nice hiking trails by the Potomac River and Great Falls. There's huge stands of wild prickly pear that remain, many of which unfortunately have been killed, but there's also quite a few that remain still, so that's pretty awesome. And yeah, this is only native species of cacti to the DC area, which is really cool. And this is up here, we have a Punchy mycorrhiza. The plains are western prickly pear. This is, as the name implies, native to the Great Plains. Some other populations, I believe, into the Midwest. But yeah, pretty much, native down the Great Plains. And mine is pretty much an immature specimen. It's a little pad, and it hasn't really grown much since I got it. Which was only, I got it like, I guess probably early fall or something like that, maybe late summer, no, probably early fall. Yeah, late summer, early fall, summertime around then. So yeah, hasn't really grown too much. Here I have Opuntia fragilis, brittle prickly pear, native, huge distribution across North America to the West Coast, tiny population in Northern California, making it Northern California's only native cactus. There's an isolated population in Ontario, known as, I think, the Caldar population, Caldar, Ontario, and I think it's like the easternmost, it's definitely the easternmost population of the species, yeah, one of several species native to Ontario, which is super cool, and that's really awesome. Super hardy species, hardiest cactus, I believe, in the world, hardy down to minus 40 or 50 Fahrenheit, and there's also a population way up north on the northern Alberta and Manitoba borders. I think it's either Alberta and Manitoba or Alberta and British Columbia. I think it's Alberta and Manitoba, and that's the northernmost cactus population in the world. And that's why they're so hardy, because they can survive those crazy temperatures up there, which is super cool. And up next we have this thing. This is Opuntia Anglemenii variety linguiformis. Opuntia Anglemenii is the Angleman prickly pear, native across basically the plains into the southwest and northern Mexico. And then this is variety linguiformis, which is lingua, I think, is like tongue, and then yeah, linguiformis is cow's tongue, so cow's tongue prickly pear, and the elongated pads really do look like a cow's tongue, like that, pretty narrow and long, so kind of like a cow's tongue, as the name implies. But yeah, you don't want to lick that because it will hurt a lot. Not only do they have those tiny little brutal glottids, as you can see there, but they also have these devilishly long spines. Those things will hurt a lot. So you don't want to lick it like a cow's tongue or something. So yeah, definitely don't do that. Don't be fooled by the name. It's not, yeah, it's, they got some long spines, but this thing I got from a big specimen at the Arboretum, and it was really big and sort of drooping on the ground. So it was already kind of spotted when I got it. You can see some of those grayish spots there. And then when I got it and I planted it, maybe it's just it got too much water or something, but you can just see it just started to rot away at the base. And, probably wouldn't, even if it were completely nice and healthy, it wouldn't be sending out new pads for a number of months, like 3 months at least, probably. So I don't think there's any hope for this thing, really. I don't know. I mean, who knows? I really doubt it's healthy enough to push out any new pads, and that browning's probably just going to spread and it'll continue to rot, unfortunately. So I hope to get another specimen, maybe at the Arboretum or stuff. That's a great thing, is you can just go to if you see a prickly pear cactus growing, you can take a pad off. You know, you want to be careful where you are and whose cactus it is. But like if I'm ever walking by one and I see one in the neighborhood, like a huge one sprawling across the ground, sometimes I'll take a pad. If I got some of these, and you know, it won't damage the host plant, which you know, just send out new pads. And the pads, even if you just drop them, they'll root in, and you can just sort of bury them part way and they'll root in super easily. That's the awesome thing about prickly pear. Super easy to root in. You can just take all the pads off, use them for food. They're incredibly, you know, nutritious, delicious. They produce amazing fruit, the prickly pear, and just amazing plants overall. And yeah, I don't think this thing, I think unfortunately this thing's just sort of a goner, but you know, why not just leave it and see if a miracle happens? I really doubt it. I don't think it's possible, but I'm just gonna leave it, see what happens, and if it likely dies, then I hope to get another one, because they do really well here. There's a big specimen at the Arboretum, which is where I got this from. And yeah, just a quick little update on my prickly pear cacti, folks. Just want to show that to you. And yeah, don't be fooled. We are not, of course, not a desert climate. We're not semi-arid, anything like that. This is quite a moist climate, but cacti do grow here, and they are, yeah, cacti grow here, and they are absolutely hardy here. There's so many species that are fully hardy here, and yeah, just great plants for this climate. And yeah, try a prickly pear. I really want to get a cholla. That's on the top of my cactus bucket list. Cholla, some of the what are they called? Hedgehog. I think hedgehog cacti, or there's some other, you know, round cacti, I don't even know how to describe them, that do well here. There's a number of very desert looking species. I mean, all these look like desert plants. Some of them are semi-arid climate plants, but they can do well here. And there are actually native cacti here on the East Coast and here in Maryland, contrary to what many believe, which is super cool. So cacti are incredible plants. Try some. I would say there's probably, I don't know, maybe there's 100 or 200. There's a lot of species that do well here, as opposed to, you know, unfortunately only a few palm species do well here, and I'm very grateful that they do, and it's incredible. But you know, cacti, there's actually a greater number of species that will thrive here. So try some cacti, folks. Gotta love it. All right, take care.